we're gonna get it fixed up. And, they're gonna get me some information, it would've been on Monday, the 18th, it was a holiday. And then I was sick on the 19th and 20th, so when I got back on the 21st, I called Eddie Walker to get my information. And, Bernie told me that, some of the parts he couldn't get anymore for the sweeper from the UK, but the big problem is, as of last Friday noon, they closed their doors in Des Moines. But they did send us a number, that number is the headquarters in North Carolina or South Carolina, where it is. So if we need to get parts or need to do stuff, we can call them out in North Carolina, and they can try to get the parts and stuff for us. But that's where we're sitting right now with our sweeper. I have nobody to work on it or anything, because, I mean, their mechanic was the only one that we've had to work on it.
And we're coming to that part, we're about a month away, right? But we're
Yeah.
close, month and a half.
Well, if we're gonna purchase one, we have to let them know sometime here pretty soon, so they'll have one for us if we're gonna use it in March or April. Because, I mean, they're not gonna just have one on hand, they'll have to get one around for us if we're gonna, but they said if we let them know in plenty of time, if we're gonna purchase one in July, that they would have one for us in March or first of April.
Any other questions for Tim? Thank you, Tim, for the information.
I have a question, what, now the current, we call it a street sweeper, but is it, my understanding it's more of a vacuum than a street sweeper?
It's a vacuum sweeper, what it is. It's a vacuum that picks up the dirt with the vacuum. It's like a big street vacuum, street vacuum, what it is. It just sweeps it over to the side, then the vacuum picks it all up.
We've never been real happy with the way it's operated even when it worked. have we?
Correct.
That's what I was thinking, we had talked about this
Yep.
before.
Yep.
And the new piece we're looking at is are we looking at, is it a Pelican?
Pelican, yes.
Which is actually just a mechanical sweeper where
Yes,
it
that's
has
correct.
grooves and brushes, and that's what mechanically,
It brings it to the center, and it's got a conveyor belt that brings it up, dumps it in the hopper.
I personally think we should just look at getting a new one.
How much is a new one?
The bid they gave us was $165,000 with trade on our other one. They gave us 20,000 trade, so
In the condition it's in?
I don't know, that was running when they looked at it and gave us that $20,000. So. I
There's
don't-
absolutely no one around the world that could work on this thing, right?
Well, I'm not saying no one around the world, Denny.
No,
I'm
I
just-
mean in our world here,
I'm just-
northeast Iowa.
I'm just saying, when we went to Johnson, had them come up and work on it, they sent the mechanic up, and he worked on it for 3 days, and he still couldn't fix the controller in the back motor, which caused the whole problem. I mean, they had a jumper wire on it. Our old mechanic actually put the jumper wire on it to make it work.
That explains quite a bit. That was
But-
probably the defense system in case something went wrong and shut the motor off, right?
And nobody could figure out how to run it without that wire. I mean, even their mechanic came up, worked on it for 3 days and couldn't figure it out. So that's the problem we have.
I don't remember what we decided in the budget hearings in regards to the street sweeper. Did we leave that money in there?
It's in there.
we've
Okay.
got 165,000 budgeted.
Okay, I couldn't remember what we decided.
At that time, Denny had gone up, and I went with Denny too, and went up and talked to Tim and found out that must've been one of the last of the engines that got, because they hadn't made that for 10 years, wasn't that correct, Dennis?
Right.
And at that time, we talked about the electrical, we didn't know that, at that time, that they were gonna shut down there.
Yeah.
Completely, which, if they were up here 3 days, like you said, they couldn't figure out what, I mean, somebody actually had to make a faulty move or whatever to make it work and properly, and it worked so for quite a while, but if there's nobody around, or not that you know of, or maybe we can, did they recommend anybody?
They had nobody they could
They had
recommend to me in
nobody.
Iowa.
Okay,
I mean, like I say, the only one I know could work on the back motor was K&A from Strawberry Point. They could work on the Perkins motors, but they couldn't recommend anybody for me down in Des
And they
Moines.
shut down?
In Des Moines?
No, Strawberry Point.
No, they're still open.
So they could probably supply us with a mechanic, right?
They could put the back motor, and they don't know nothing about the electrical controllers or the fins and stuff, they told me. They could do the Perkins motors all.
Have we called this place in Johnston, North America,
No, I have not.
So we don't really know what they're capable of doing, if they could send a mechanic with the parts or,
Nope.
Where are they
That,
at?
that's just the headquarters, all, pardon me?
Where's that headquarters at?
As far as I know, it's either North or South Carolina. I'm not sure which one it is, but that's who I am supposed to call now if I need any questions, call that number.
You definitely got Strawberry's number somewhere, don't you, too?
Yeah, I got K&A's, yep.
Well, $30,000 would fix that sweeper. I'm fully confident in that. And you are too.
No, I'm
Take-
not.
Take $30,000 away from $165,000, man, we could have a pretty good party on the balance.
You could put the motor and stuff in and fix that part, whether you can fix electrical and
Well, it
And the
cost-
fins and
not
stuff.
counting labor, I got a motor for $7,800. It's factory rebuilt. Not counting labor.
I agree.
You told me that you can buy those fins for what, 600 apiece?
Mm-hmm.
Need how many?
I believe there's 8 of them on there.
I thought you said 4 or 5 the other day. when we
No, I
talked.
think there's 8 of them on there.
He did say 8.
Okay.
Bob, did you make a motion to approve buying a new one? Did I hear you make a motion to that degree, or were you just?
No,
Was a
Oh, we
motion,
were
okay.
just discussing.
Okay.
um,
An opinion.
I think we should call this Johnson North America first and see what they're capable of doing
right.
before we make a final decision. And then if they're coming from South Carolina or North Carolina, that's gonna be really costly to send somebody up here, cause they're gonna have to stay.
Mooresville, North Carolina.
What
Yeah.
if Strawberry Point has the capabilities of doing all of it?
If they do,
I said, if they do.
yeah, but if we can find out first, if they're even able to do anything or provide the parts, and then bring it back to us to make the decision.
I can't believe we'd have to go clear to North Carolina to find somebody smart enough to do this.
Well, and if you call them, they might know somebody that's closer to our region,
Correct.
cause they know who their representatives are.
Did I hear a comment that they haven't made this engine for 10 years?
10 years.
Correct.
So we're taking a rebuilt engine that hasn't been built for 10 years. And, I mean, to me, that's pouring money down the blank.
How old is this unit to begin with?
Pardon me?
How old is the unit itself, the sweeper?
There's no doubt about it. It's gonna need repairs.
No, I mean,
It's 10 years
It's
also.
10 years old,
It
yeah.
got- It got one of those last
2003.
Perkins engines in it,
Yeah,
John.
it was the last one,
Yeah.
But it's worth how much if it's running? 20,000.
20,000.
What's gonna make this one here, this new one, worth any more than that 8 or 9 years from now?
I'm not gonna say there is gonna make it any worth.
I was talking to a guy the other day that farm it out, they contract the streets being swept. Doesn't sound like a bad idea to me.
That's an option you can look into.
You could probably get a lot of sweeping done for $165,000.
That would, I think, depend on where they were coming from.
And how often they came.
Yeah.
This is an annual event.
Yeah.
It's not something you just do once.
How often do we sweep?
Sweeper, once we start, he's usually out there almost every day. He's in one part of the town or the other.
In the summertime?
Mm-hmm. Then the most important time is in the fall, when the leaves start falling and stuff. But yeah, he's out there every day in one section of town or the other.
So how many days is he running?
Probably May, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months.
Actually, most people want their streets cleaned twice a year. And up in my area, I got a lot of complaints.
Oh, they'd like to see it every week if they could.
I mean, they'd like to have, in the spring,
Sand and dirt picked
the
up.
sand